Advice for the elderly. Here are 6 compelling reasons why living alone after the age of 65 is a wise and healthy choice for senior citizens. Is it a lonely mistake to live alone after the age of 65? Or is it a quiet victory? It is a common misconception that getting older is a sign that you should not live by yourself. They envision feeling alone, taking risks, and having long, empty days. However, the truth is that living by yourself between the ages of 65 and 80 might be one of the most liberating choices you end up making in your whole life. Trying to drive people away is not the goal here. In other words, it's about entering a space that is completely yours. A place where your own preferences are taken into consideration. Your rhythms are in charge, and your tranquility is safeguarded. There is a fear among some individuals that living alone may make them vulnerable or forgetful. However, for a significant number of elderly people, it actually brings about a sense of rebirth, clarity, and power. Because of this, they are able to expand rather than contract, rather than to brace oneself. In addition, to unearth aspects of oneself that had been buried for decades due to the accumulation of caregiving, compromise, and personal clutter. Living alone does not mean that you are disconnected from other people. It means living one's life with a purpose. In this video, we are going to discuss 6 genuine reasons that are sometimes missed as to why living alone in your late 60s, 70s, or even early 80s can be a prudent and even joyous choice. In the event that you have ever questioned whether or not you still possess the capacity for independence, or if the world has attempted to persuade you that being alone is synonymous with feeling miserable, then this is for you. What you will discover in this location may surprise you in the most positive ways. The time has come to get started. Having a stronger sense of autonomy is the first priority. When it comes to human nature, the desire to make one's own decisions is extremely satisfying. How early should I eat? What kind of music should be played? There are 2 options available for spending the morning: either to read or to sit quietly with a cup of coffee. It is up to you to make all of those decisions when you live by yourself. Providing an explanation is not required of you. There is no need to discuss the temperature or make concessions over the meal that will be served. At first glance, this may appear insignificant, yet, for a significant number of senior citizens, it is the first time in decades that they have been free to fully honor their own preferences without feeling guilty or being interrupted. Self-sufficiency does not mean refusing assistance. This is about maintaining one's dignity. It is simple to have the impression that decisions are being made for you while you are living with other people, particularly adult children or caretakers. What begins as support has the potential to rapidly transform into control. All of a sudden, your routines are moved around to accommodate theirs. This results in your needs being included into their timetable, and your home, which was formerly a haven of peace and quiet, is transformed into a communal environment in which your voice is given a bit less weight. Even if everyone is doing their best, this will, in the long run, undermine confidence. I would want to tell you about Norma, a woman who is 74 years old and moved in with her son after suffering a hip injury. She felt grateful for the attention, the security, and the meals that were prepared with affection, but she gradually became aware that she was receding into the background, due to the fact that her grandson did not enjoy the high volume. She decided to cease playing her favorite recordings. The day she discovered that she hadn't picked her own bedtime in weeks was the day she recognized that she had modified her eating habits to match those of the family. It was after she had recovered and moved back into her own apartment that something shift occurred. She increased the height of her stride. She laughed even more. While she was in the kitchen, she resumed her dancing. Not only was there a lack of space, the option to choose was brought back. That choice is returned to you when you live by yourself. You are reminded that you are not simply getting older, you are still alive. You are still developing, and you are still deserving of structuring each day in a manner that is satisfying. That is appropriate, and that is authentic to who you are. This kind of independence nurtures a sense of self-respect. Additionally, Regardless of your age, having respect for yourself will always lead to strength. The second point is that the atmosphere is more tranquil. When you are by yourself in your own area, you are able to experience a special kind of stillness. The kind of stillness that is not empty, but rather the kind that is clean, kind, and undisturbed is the one that is desired. When you live by yourself, you have the ability to mold that silence. You have complete control over the volume of your day, including the sounds that you accept and those that you reject. The television is not blaring from the next room. There are no footsteps in the hallway that wake you up at 5 o'clock. And there are no phone conversations that are audible through the thin walls. It's nothing more than the rhythm of your own breath, the creak of your favorite chair, and the calm that so many people spend their entire lives trying to find. Your neurological system is affected in some way by the kind of environment that you are in. It makes it more relaxed. Anxiety is soothed to a certain extent by it. Stress hormone cortisol is reduced as a result of this. Everything from high blood pressure to shallow sleep can be traced back to being responsible for this. That energy is something that you take in when you live with other people, particularly if they are hurried, noisy, or emotionally passionate towards you. The confusion, the moods, and the mess that they have created are carried by you, whether you are aware of it or not. In a short amount of time, you will forget what it was like to be completely at ease in your own flesh. Let's talk about Gloria, a retired educator who is 70 years old and who recently shared her house with her adult daughter and 2 small grandkids for a period of 5 years. However, she had a profound affection for them, but each day brought her disruption, commotion, and movement. At all times, she was confronted with a request, a spill, or a question that required her attention. At the end of the day, Gloria couldn't help but feel exhausted. Gloria was able to regain not just her personal space but also her nervous system due to the fact that her daughter moved out of the family home and into her own house. Her sleep quality improved. Her digestive system became more stable. It was not the prescription that she was taking that made her memory feel sharper. Rather, it was the fact that her body had finally been given the opportunity to relax. Simply being in a position where you have no one to please can be therapeutic. This is her first thing in the morning, and there is no pressure to perform, answer, or smile when you are not ready. There are no talks that you did not begin from her. A space that focuses more on listening than talking, with only you present. Indeed, for many elderly people, that is not loneliness, rather, it is peace. Moreover, once you experience serenity, it transforms into something that you will never want to trade again. I would appreciate it if you could use the second comment section below to let me know that you are continuing viewing this video and that you are finding these insights to be helpful. I strongly suggest that you subscribe to the channel and activate the bell if you have not already done so. This will ensure that you do not miss any videos. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. Let's proceed with our plans now. Freedom to create your own routine is the third thing to consider. One can experience a certain level of happiness when they are able to move through their day at their own pace. Wake up when your body tells you it's ready to do so. A practice of eating when one is truly hungry. Deciding when to shut down the lights, when to rest, and when to run errands are all important decisions. Not trying to see if it fits into the plans of another person. Having that independence is a benefit of living alone. It gives you the ability to take control of the rhythm of your life once again. Once you have established a comfortable pattern for yourself, it transforms into a form of medication. The routines of older individuals are frequently altered in order to satisfy the needs of others. It doesn't matter if it's an adult child's schedule, a caregiver's timeline, or even a neighbor who drops by unannounced with good intentions. Their days start to revolve around the clock of someone else. This takes a toll over the course of time. A hasty meal is served. My sleep is being disrupted. Personal habits such as going for walks in the morning or reading in the afternoon begin to become less frequent, despite the fact that you might not even be aware of it happening. Something within you starts to contract, perhaps a little bit like a flower that has been turned away from the sun. Please allow me to tell you about Carl, a widower who is 77 years old and moved into the home of his nephew after experiencing a health crisis. The initial impression was one of support. There was people present. The care was present. In spite of this, Carl's mornings eventually were dominated by the family's haste to get to school. The timing of their meals was strictly adhered to. The level of noise kept rising. His unhurried breakfast, his calm afternoons, and his mid-morning crossword puzzle were all things that he missed. After some time, he made a request to go back to his own modest flat. And the subsequent events have taken everyone by surprise. His vigor came back to him. Again, he began his painting career, due to the fact that he was able to regain his time. He quickly started sleeping through the night. Setting your own schedule is not an act of selfishness. It has a deep soul. The way in which you hear your body, the way in which you nourish your spirit, and the way in which you go through the day with intention rather than duty are all important. Living by oneself does not equate to being isolated. It involves aligning yourself with your natural pace, your own requirements, the delights that you experience in the silence, and other similar alignments. It results in a life that is not merely bearable, but rather feels profoundly appropriate. The fourth point is possessing emotional fortitude and self-assurance. There is a significant change that takes place when you demonstrate to yourself that you are capable of handling things on your own. Not because you are required to, but because you give yourself permission to do so. In your latter years, living by yourself offers more than just the opportunity to be free. The kind of strength that comes from activities like as managing the bills, calling the plumber, determining what to eat for supper, and shutting your own front door at night is the kind of strength that is developed through this activity. Your brain receives the message that I am capable, that I am steady, and that I am still in charge of my own life with each of those modest deeds. Having a lingering concern that independence diminishes with age, that requiring less assistance means taking on too much, is something that many people who are getting older worry about. The reality, however, is that handling life on one's own, provided that it is done in a safe and conscientious manner, has the potential to really rebuild confidence that was lost somewhere along the line. It is possible to strengthen your feeling of self by resolving tiny problems that arise on a regular basis and making decisions on your own. You refrain from questioning your own judgment. Instead than waiting for someone to tell you what to do, you take action. You start to have faith in your gut instincts once more. Bernice, who was 81 years old at the time, had spent the majority of her adult life living with her sister. Allow me to tell you about her. When Bernice's sister passed away, many people anticipated that she would move in with family. Rather, she made the decision to remain in the house that she and her sister had shared. Initially, she was an anxious person. She was unsure of whether or not she could deal with everything. But she did it in a gradual and quiet manner. Day by day, her ability to handle her funds was acquired. A faulty faucet was repaired by her. She walked by herself several times. And on a particular occasion, after she had made her own appointment with the doctor and driven herself there, she spoke the words, "I didn't know I could still do all of this." She was energized from the inside out by that realization. When you live by yourself, you are able to experience moments like that, moments that help you rebuild the bridge between who you were and who you are now. It serves as a reminder that becoming older does not entail losing your memory. Evolving is what it means. Additionally, the more you do for yourself, the more you will believe in yourself for the future. This idea serves as a form of emotional defense. It helps you remain steady in times of turmoil. When the future seems uncertain, it helps you feel more grounded, not with uncertainty, but with a profound sense of pride that you have earned. It fills your days with peace. I would appreciate it if you could use the fourth comment section below to let me know that you are continuing viewing this video and that you are finding these insights to be helpful. I strongly suggest that you subscribe to the channel and activate the bell if you have not already done so. This will ensure that you do not miss any videos. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. Let's proceed with our plans now. Reducing the number of social confrontations and emotional friction is the fifth point. The tranquility that comes from having fewer everyday disagreements is one of the primary advantages of living alone in your senior years. But it is also one of the most underestimated advantages. In this situation, you are not dealing with passive-aggressive remarks. You are not taking on the negative disposition of another person. When it comes to the volume of the television or the way you speak at the dinner table, you are not making any concessions. Despite the fact that this may seem insignificant, emotional friction, particularly when it is ongoing, depletes your potential for energy. It makes you feel less at ease on a regular basis. In addition, over the course of time, it has the potential to steal the joy from your days without you even being aware of it. When you share your home with other people, especially with people you care about, there is always the possibility of conflict. It could be a difference in the way you want your place to feel, in the habits you have, or in the ideas you hold. Furthermore, despite the fact that these differences can appear to be tolerable, the constant need to alter, explain, or defend your views leaves you feeling exhausted. As time goes on, you begin to diminish yourself in order to maintain the status quo. You refrain from expressing your thoughts. You have to keep your guard up. You make adjustments to your happiness. And that pressure, which is unseen, mounts up. Consider Leonard, a 79-year-old man who moved in with his daughter after suffering a small fall. Let's talk about him. It was her intention. She had the desire to safeguard him. However, very quickly, every option turned into a contentious discussion. Whether or not he was capable of driving. Was he able to consume everything he desired to eat? Whether or not he was permitted to use the garden for his work. After 1 year, Leonard made a request to relocate to a modest housing complex for senior citizens. It was not because he did not love his family, rather, it was because he longed to hear his own voice. In just a few short weeks, his posture began to improve. He resumed his previous chuckling. He reported that he had the sensation that his home was once again his. Living alone does not entail isolating oneself from other people. Making a decision on when and how to connect is required. This includes ensuring that you keep your emotional boundaries intact. It implies making room for interactions that are calm, rather than ones that are forced based on proximity. In addition, when you do spend time with other people, whether it be friends, children, or neighbors, you do so from a place of contentment rather than exhaustion. Having clarity like that does more than just make you feel better internally. It improves your ability to love. And it's possible that this is the most wonderful gift of all. Having a more profound connection with oneself is the sixth point. It is only through stillness that one can develop a certain kind of knowing. It is something that opens up when you live by yourself, particularly between the ages of 65 and 80. Not only your timetable, but also your space, and your awareness as well. Without the continual clamor of other people's opinions, without the subtle pressure to entertain or explain, you start to hear yourself more clearly now that you are free from those distractions. You begin to recall the things that you truly take pleasure in, the things that you believe, the things that you miss, and the things that continue to pique your curiosity. Such a self-connection has the potential to be life-giving in ways that the majority of people never anticipate. So many years are spent wrapped up in responsibilities, such as being a parent, a spouse, a job, or a caretaker. We are constantly doing and always tending. On the other hand, when the house is peaceful and the world gives you space, you will finally have the opportunity to ask yourself, who am I now? How would I like these years to present themselves to me? This is not a depressing question at all. It is a holy one at that. As the canvas, solitude is the subject. Additionally, new things start to emerge from that state of silence. Let's say it's the writing. Perhaps you're painting it. Presumably, it is prayer. It could be as simple as spending some time relaxing in your preferred chair. seeing the light as it travels over the floor, and experiencing the sensation of being at ease for a change. I would want to tell you the story of Harold, a widower who was 84 years old and had always been completely surrounded by people. However, after the death of his wife and the relocation of his children to another state, Harold made the decision to not fill the void. It was not the case that he joined every group or invited boarders into the house. On the contrary, he sat inside by himself. In the beginning, it was strange and occasionally even unsettling. But as time went on, he started keeping a notebook. Following that, he began writing down his recollections. I thought I was alone, but I found someone in the quiet. He said one day, I found someone in the quiet. I discovered myself. Those remarks have remained in my mind. There is no absence when you are living alone. What matters is that you are present in your thoughts and in the development of your own life. And when you give yourself permission to get to that level of depth, it does more than just bring you serenity. It imparts significance. You have come to the realization that aging is not about deterioration. Finding out is the focus here. To add insult to injury, you don't only take solace in that uncovering, you discover who you are. I would appreciate it if you could use the 6th comment section below to let me know that you are continuing viewing this video and that you are finding these insights to be helpful. I strongly suggest that you subscribe to the channel and activate the bell if you have not already done so. This will ensure that you do not miss any videos. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. Let's proceed with our plans now. Sheridan 1. These are my final thoughts. Living by oneself after the age of 65 is sometimes misunderstood. It is commonly believed that it is a lonely, risky, and last resort. However, the opposite is true for many people. It is a return, and it is developing in a gentle form. A decision to live your life according to your own standards while you still have the ability to do so. It is not the same as excluding someone from access. To do so means to invite oneself back inside. When you do this, you acknowledge that your preferences are still important. We believe that your time, your energy, and your space are all valuable assets that should be safeguarded. This is a chapter that you have earned. Each and every scar, each and every laugh line, and each and every border that was earned with much effort. Living by yourself provides you with the opportunity to restart your breathing, to think without interruption, and to experience your own feelings without being judged. It provides the kind of tranquility that can only be found when one is in the company of someone who completely comprehends one's situation. In this particular instance, that individual is you. This form of relationship is not inferior, rather, it is more profound. The moment you take a bite, you realize that you were never actually lacking anything in the first place. On the other hand, you were just waiting to get back to yourself. Do not turn to what the rest of the world has to say about this way of life if you have been contemplating whether or not it is suitable for you. Turn your attention inward. If you want to know how your body reacts when the house is silent, ask it. Ask your mind how it reacts when it is not being seen by anyone else. Inquire of your spirit what it yearns for when the day is completely under your control. There is a possibility that the responses you hear will not be loud, but they will be truthful. We appreciate you being here with us today. It would be wonderful if you could get in touch with us. Please leave a comment below and tell us about one item you discovered today and how you intend to put it to use in your life right now. We place a high value on your opinions, so please do not be reluctant to share them with us. Our inspiration and encouragement are greatly increased as a result of reading your remarks. I would appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, and share this video if you found it to be informative and enjoyable. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. We appreciate you taking the time to watch, and we hope to see you in the future video.